by notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. OPMA authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings through use of streaming services and other online meeting platforms. The Red Bank Council is meeting in person, as well as providing an option for the public to participate via Zoom video meetings. Please note that the option to attend is being provided as a courtesy. Therefore, if Zoom becomes unavailable during the meeting and cannot quickly be fixed, council will continue with the remainder of the meeting. For those joining us via Zoom, please raise your hand during designated times to be recognized for a comment. Whether you are appearing in person or via Zoom, you must provide your name to be recognized. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Laura.
Councilmember Bonatakis. Here. Councilmember Cassidy.
Present.
Councilmember Facey Blackhead here. Councilmember Forrest.
Present.
Councilmember Janone. Present. Deputy Mayor Trigiano. Here. Mayor Portman.
Here.
You have quorum, sir.
Thank you. Bear with me, everyone. I have a whole bunch of proclamations to read. First one is for National Volunteer Week. Whereas National Volunteer Week was established in 1974 and has grown exponentially each subsequent year, individuals and communities are at the center of social change, discovering their power to make a difference. And whereas National Volunteer Week is about taking action and encouraging individuals, organizations, businesses, and their respective communities to be at the center of social change by discovering and actively demonstrating the collective power necessary to foster positive transformation. Every community member can affect positive change with any volunteer action, no matter how big or small, utilizing their time and talent daily to make a real difference in the lives of children, adults, and the elderly. And whereas we seek to lift everyone up and where we lead, not by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. As those who, as those who volunteer know firsthand, service also benefits the volunteer. It can teach important skills, help build professional networks, and provide an empowering sense of purpose. Volunteering brings people together, uniting us around our common belief in the dignity and equality of every person and giving us a chance to learn from others we might otherwise never meet. And whereas experience teaches us that government by itself cannot solve all of our nation's social problems, and our community's volunteers are a vital force to our future as a caring and productive community and should be lauded and treasured. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, on behalf of the Red Bank Borough Council, to hereby proclaim April as Volunteer Month in the Borough of Red Bank. I'm not sure how this proclamation got on here. This is the National Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week.
Oh. What an honor.
Yes. The office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, forgot my own name, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, do recognize the week of May 5th through 11th, 2024 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Laura Reinertson, Deputy Municipal Clerk Bonnie Thomas, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital service that they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I can say firsthand None of us up here could do what we do without you, Laura. And I'm not saying this because I love your dog that you bring to work. That has nothing to do.
Maybe a little.
Yeah, all right, maybe.
Hey, you should take a photo. I mean, Laura.
I think you should take a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the guy?
So man.
Oh, Laura.
Laura.
Here. We control the website, right? There goes my vegan snacks.
Yeah, Laura. Big deep. They were. Not the time. Here. I don't know. I'm glad you put that on the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Next up, it's Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas 2024 is the 152nd anniversary of the holiday, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide a habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper and wood and beautify our communities. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2024 as the 152nd anniversary celebration of Arbor Day in the Borough of Red Bank. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Oh, is Boris here? Oh, yeah, Boris. Well, let's give this one to you on behalf of the Shade Tree Commission.
All right.
Boris Hoffman has planted and cared for more than a few trees in this borough. That he has a bag that's almost like Mary Poppins bag. That fanny pack there holds more than you could ever imagine in it. And he seriously takes care of every tree in this town. So he's not a man for attention, but yes. He has everything you can imagine. I've needed sunscreen that comes out. I've needed a rain.
Mary Poppins, I like that.
He has everything in there.
This little button.
He does.
Everything to trim a tree is in
It
there.
was broken. He goes, wait a minute, I have a tool for that. Every button.
Up in the window, there's Boris trimming one of the trees on the east, on the right away, and
Thanks to Boris. Thank you.
new steps in, Billy.
I know.
You're not done.
Councilman Forrest wanted to second that motion.
All right.
What's that?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Light the Night. Whereas the United States Congress and the President of the United States have designated the day of the annual National Fallen Firefighters Memorial Service as a day to honor firefighters and emergency services personnel who have sacrificed their lives to save others by lowering the American flag on all federal buildings to half staff. And whereas the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial Weekend marks the weekend following International Firefighters Day 2024. And whereas the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation is inviting landmarks, fire and community organizations, businesses and homes across the nation to light up red from May 1st to 5th, 2024, National Fallen Firefighters Memorial Weekend in honor and remembrance of the sacrifices of America's fallen fire heroes. And whereas firefighters and emergency services personnel play an essential role in the protection of lives and property in our local community. And whereas an average of 80 firefighters courageously make the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty each year. And whereas it is of major importance that we increase our efforts to reduce deaths, injuries, and property losses from fire. Now, therefore, on behalf of the entire council and citizens of Red Bank, I, Mayor William Portman, call upon all citizens of Red Bank and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the day of May 5th, 2024, in recognition of the patriotic service and dedicated efforts of our fire and emergency services personnel by lowering American flags on all buildings to half-staff. I respectfully encourage these same organizations, as well as the citizens of Red Bank, to remember all fire and emergency personnel who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community and to pay respects to the survivors of our fallen heroes. I encourage our citizens to light the night for fallen firefighters by lighting up red their businesses and homes to honor fire and emergency services personnel, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to duties have rendered invaluable service to our community and its citizens. And Frank Woods, we're going to ask you to come up and accept this proclamation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. Thanks, chief.
Yeah, that's right. Sounds good.
There's more.
All right. Next. It is Public Employee Recognition Week. Whereas public service is a calling which has meant so much to so many, it embodies our sense of shared values and reflects our drive to serve a cause beyond our own, to give back, to leave our mark, and nudge history forward. There is no greater opportunity to help more people or to make a bigger difference. During Public Employee Recognition Week, we honor the men and women who power our local government, and we recommit to tackling the toughest challenges with the most talented workforce. Whereas public employees at the federal, state, county, and city levels dedicate their careers to public service by contributing to professional industries such as healthcare, education, public safety, conservation, and national defense. And whereas these dedicated public servants perform their duties with compassion, professionalism, and a commitment to those they serve. And whereas the importance of public service provided by public employees and volunteers is too often forgotten or ignored. Whereas Red Bank extends our appreciation and gratitude to all public employees for their continued spirit of dedication. We honor the men and women who power our local government. We recognize all those who dedicate their lives to this noble pursuit, and we celebrate the tremendous differences they make every day. Now, therefore, I, William Portman, Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, do hereby proclaim May 5th through 11th, 2024, Public Employee Recognition Week, to honor and recognize all public employees and remind the citizens of Red Bank of the importance of public service. One more. Pay It Forward Day.
Like that.
Whereas acts of kindness are well known to make a positive difference in promoting community spirit, and it brightens the lives of both the giver and the recipient, often encouraging others to pass it on. And whereas a worldwide effort with approximately 80 countries participating, Pay It Forward Day was established in Australia by Blake Beattie in 2007, and it was inspired by the Pay It Forward book by Catherine Ryan Hyde and the movie of the same title. And whereas Pay It Forward Day's mission is to encourage people to do good deeds for others without asking for anything in return, except for the recipient to pay it forward to others. And whereas paying it forward opportunities can be as simple as buying the next person in line a cup of coffee, washing a neighbor's car, presenting a stranger with a flower, assisting a senior with an errand, helping a teacher purchase educational supplies, or donating time or money to a worthwhile cause. And whereas the initiative has created Pay It Forward Day cards available at payitforwardday.com, and the cards are given to those who have received a good deed explaining Pay It Forward's mission, letting the person know that the random act of kindness they received asks only that the recipient do something kind for someone else. And whereas the Borough of Red Bank acknowledges the importance and value of kindness within our own community and is honored to join this initiative that encourages random acts of kindness to one another. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Borough Council, I, William Portman, Mayor of Red Bank, do hereby proclaim Sunday, April 28, 2024, as Pay It Forward Day in the Borough of Red Bank, New Jersey, and urge all citizens to join me in support of kindness to others, not only annually on April 28th, but each and every day, and in encouraging individuals to pay it forward whenever the opportunity presents itself. All right, we have a couple of presentations. First, we have one.
Volunteer of the year?
Do I have a, oh, Oscar, you have the,
There he
okay,
is.
good, yeah, so, we're gonna be honoring, a Parks and Recreation volunteer as Volunteer of the Year, Joe Haran. A little bit about Joe, right? Coach Joe Haran. Joe Haran grew up in rural New York, running in fields and enjoying being outside. When he was 10, his family moved to Madrid, Spain, where he played sandlot soccer, and the love of the sport grew for him. When he moved back to New York, he continued to play soccer with friends casually at pickup games. When he moved to this area in his early 20s, he met a group of guys who liked to play soccer, and he began playing in a few different adult leagues. He moved to Red Bank in the early 90s and fell in love with this great town. He eventually bought a home and started a family here with his wife. They had twin boys in 2010 who started playing Red Bank rec sports in preschool. Shortly after, he got involved helping out the teams and eventually became a coach. He's bilingual, which enables him to communicate well with a larger part of the local population and the soccer families. Besides coaching, he still plays soccer every Sunday morning in an over 40s league because he loves the sport. The RV Rec program is great for kids. He sees firsthand how it allows them to build character, social skills, and self-confidence. In addition, it provides a healthy alternative to electronic games. His boys have played on several teams for the town year-round. He has recruited players from the outdoor and indoor recreation teams to play on the Red Bank travel team. Even in the pouring rain and when his own kids have other commitments, Joe shows up for his teams. Coaching their teams has allowed him to be an active part of their lives, know who their friends are, as well as giving him an opportunity to give back to the community. Where's Joe? Right here?
Yeah, sure. Do your kids want to be in the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, do your boys, do they want to be in the picture?
The family.
You want to?
Yeah, bring the whole family up.
For that.
Get those boys in here.
In the Garden State League?
Oh, Garza.
You're French? Yeah, I stopped. and
Gets around for
Oh
pictures.
my God, sticky, like, the whole body started hurting after a game. Like,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
6 months. Look at the.
All right, you guys ready? All right, next up, we have a presentation on RBC's Student Safe Driving Initiative. You may want to, hopefully you can talk into the microphones too, just so everyone can hear and people that are home can hear you as well.
Yeah, let's move on. Some things for you guys.
Okay.
Oh, I'll do a little support.
Yeah, I think we're doing this. But my name is Christian Sherman.
I'm Ally.
That's.
We're all students from Red Bank Catholic, and we're really excited to present to you all today. We have a presentation that. And it's about a driving seat every year, so we're really excited to share it with all of you.
You can pick it up. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
And keep it close. It is very quiet.
So we want to make Red Bank ready, but what does this mean? In broad terms, getting Red Bank ready means smarter driving and safer roads. So in our projects, we are focusing on 3 specific aspects. The first is creating safer parking lots for students and for citizens of Red Bank. The second is educating and enforcing the move over law. And the third is making sure that Red Bank drivers abide by crosswalk guidelines and stop for pedestrians.
Okay, so the problems and solutions. The first problem facing Red Bank with driving is the parking lots. We have a lot of pedestrians, a lot of things going on in Red Bank, shopping, foods, entertainment, all that stuff, especially RBC. We all belong to RBC. And we have our own parking lots. We park in at school and just parking lots in general. So we want to make sure the parking lots are safer, tell everyone's like slowed down, like just allow 2 extra minutes to where you need to go. And just to make it safer like all the way around. And we did some interviews and we had great feedback from all the students saying like what we could do better. And that was pretty much the parking problem we're facing.
Next slide.
Yeah, so one thing I think that a lot of people who don't go to our school know is that we do share a lot of the municipal lots. So you can see Red Bank Catholic students parking in White Lot, behind Teak, and some of the other lots. But it's really not just about our students, it's about bettering the community as a whole.
Oh, go back, please. Thank you.
Too fast.
There you go.
Okay, so the next thing, like we said, is the move over law. So we're right next to the hospital, as everyone probably knows. And there's a lot of emergency services going in and out. So we make sure everyone is aware that they have to pull over and let the emergency vehicles get first priority because like could save a life, like you never know what's happening. So that's what we have for that.
Yeah, so essentially this is really we're educating the youth. We're starting domestically within our school and educating our students so that it can have kind of a broader effect on Red Bank as a whole. So move over law, we have a lot of new drivers, of course, and obviously Red Bank, the roads are very congested. And there is emergencies. We have, the police station, the fire station, the hospital, all of them are doing this. So this is definitely something that we've prioritized with our campaign.
Next.
I think something we've had to kind of prioritize and think about throughout this campaign is that we're a Catholic school, so we get students from all over, like counties and there may be towns with people who aren't familiar with roads that are that congested if they live in Colts Neck, compared to Red Bank. So it's an adjustment that we want to educate and we want to enforce in our school because the change we want to start in our school. Because we know that with the parking lots, we're sharing it and we want to do that responsibly, so.
And then the final problem that we're focusing on in our campaign is pedestrian crossings. Obviously, there's a ton of pedestrians in this community. And we started it with like the younger generations, so St. James students. We all share the same parking lot, we're all crossing Broad Street to get where we need to go and other various streets in Red Bank. And not everyone always stops at the crosswalks to let the pedestrians go. So we want to enforce the pedestrians have the right of way. And we went to St. James, we did a coloring book for the younger kids and demonstrated to them like pedestrian crossing. And that's our picture. And yeah.
Yeah, so basically we're going from teaching the young kids how to be, maneuvering their way around Red Bank, crossing the streets, making their way through the parking lots, and then building our way up, educating the new drivers. And really, it's about uniting Red Bank as a community. Red Bank has a really great walkability there. We discussed with Deputy Mayor. And so it's really not about changing, the physical, it's about the unity and educating so that we can work together. We have people who are in a rush who, don't want to, need to get to where they're going. But the reality is that driving in Red Bank is not like driving in, say, Middletown or in Freehold or in Coltsneck, You have to budget in that time, and so do the pedestrians.
Okay, so yeah, Red Bank's a really great town. It's become like a second home to all of us because we all go to school here. Like, I don't live in Red Bank personally, but I think I spend more time in Red Bank than I do anywhere else because I'm here 5 days a week. I stay after school. everyone else, like we're all always here all the time and we have a really great town. So we want to showcase that and then inform the community of how we can do our part as a community.
And essentially, we're making a circle with that because we're teaching students that are younger who are gonna grow up and maybe go to Red Bank Catholic and then become involved in a campaign like this, so then they would inspire the younger generation. So we really wanted to make we wanted to make an impact that would last and kind of go, even when we graduate and go to college, it'll still have an impact.
Yeah, so just to build off Christian, Just Drive is a campaign that is annual. This year we decided to go with more of like a broader, Red Bank focused, driving campaign. So basically, so uniting the community, what we're doing is we surveyed the students within our parking lots. We got a lot of great feedback, like Christian said. We assembled a team of passionate students, to spread the movement. And we met several times, and then where do we go from there? We designed T-shirts as part of our outreach.
So I'm wearing it right now. I'm gonna show.
So selling these T-shirts brought our entire student body together and transformed our campaign into something bigger than that, our original team of students. So, we had a dress down day. You might have seen a lot of Red Bank Catholic students walking around, supporting, Just Drive, Red Bank Red.
I feel it. Next slide. No more slides.
There we go.
Oh, just kidding. Don't get nervous.
So now after, uniting the student body, it's time to unite our town. And in order to advance our campaign into a townwide effort, we designed posters and banners to advertise for Red Bank. We affiliated with several local businesses, and owners to promote our causes in their stores. And we also discussed with the local Red Bank business owners, about what problems they see on a daily basis, A lot of the business owners on Mom Street see it all the time right over here, the crossing situation with pedestrians. And specifically with our students, how we can improve from that, and spreading the word. So our next step was presenting the campaign. We organized a meeting with Red Bank's Deputy Mayor, Kate Yata.
Oh, go back. You're still on that side. Okay, go back. There you go. Yep.
We discussed our goals and she helped us facilitate communication with the police department, to approve hanging the banner. And we were very inspired by her story and her passion for serving.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, next one.
So the last part of the campaign is the video, and that's actually what we're working on now in the last few days of April. We're compiling all of the footage that we've recorded around the town, all the interviews that we've conducted and accomplishments that we're proud of. So Ms. Buckman over here is recording us, so this is gonna be in the video. So we're kind of just building our cause, and then we're gonna send it out to the student body as a part of a Wellness Wednesday video, which is a weekly video that has like an uplifting message for the student body that brings us together in the school. And yeah, we're really kind of proud of the work that we've been doing, so.
As you should.
So, and one other thing is in the video, Just Drive is kind of a bigger program. Our school is just kind of like a candidate in the Just Drive, a bigger Just Drive campaign. So our video will get submitted, to.
Yeah, it's kind of like a statewide competition, a bunch of schools like throughout the state compete in it basically. And then we go to Six Flags in May and then they.
Why not?
Everything.
Yes, so it's like an impact focused, competition. But obviously the important part is the impact. So thank you so much for, listening to our presentation.
Thank you, guys. Does anyone have any questions for these students?
I have a few comments for.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, first of all, I think you just really were a great example for public speaking of anybody of any age. So I hope that you keep your level of service. I had the honor of meeting Christian. He's also a member of the SEAL program with Clean Ocean Action.
Yeah.
And he went to his advisor and said, we should, I met the deputy, we should get involved. Red Bank, Cass Lake, you guys are a part of our community. You are here all the time. You're investing in our economy. You are walking on our streets. You are in our parking lots. I was really blown away at your maturity when we came to the table and talked about these issues, your self-awareness of these issues. And a lot of what we talked about is that a community is a group of people that agree to grow together. And what does that mean, right? That means students coming to the table and saying, yeah, like we know our students, our body ourselves, we aren't always the best, drivers in the parking lot. And, us talking about, hey, like some of these roads could be, better and what are our plans moving forward? So, for me, what I really hope this is a start of us having that connection with the student body in your school, and also those students that you talk to at the primary school and everything else, just creating that line up so that, when you guys, get to graduate and move on from here, that there's students there's stakeholders from your school that can come to the table. And when we as a governing body have an idea and we want to bring you guys, as well as students of RBR and members of the post, everybody, we want to make sure that you guys know that you have a seat at that table. But really, the thing I was really blown away by was your self-awareness in this campaign, and that, you're a part of it, teaching the students to move over how to, actually cross the crosswalk properly, how to allot the time to get from A to B and not try to rush to, beat your clock. So just the maturity and the grace and organizing you guys showed is really exemplary. So I was so happy you came and shared it with the town. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Same.
Before you go, does anyone have any questions?
There's an outline. It's judged on creativity, media, so social media, or if you're featured in a newspaper, there is community outreach. There is a fundraising aspect for us, that was the shirts, and then the main judging criteria is like a final presentation with the video. So we're making the video now, and they'll go through all of that with all the schools, and then at Six Flags, they'll announce the winner and then any honorable mentions that they see fit.
And we've been doing this for 11 years, and almost every single year we get runner up. So like, we do this,
Come on now.
Kind of be first.
Yeah, but if you do want to follow up, we do have an Instagram, it's.
Yeah.
The
RBC Just Drive.
Yep, so you can find our video out there, but thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate your attention.
Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, I'll take a minute. If you just came like for an award presentation, you guys don't have to stay the whole meeting. We'll give you a second if you wanted to clear out.
Have a good night.
Hey, where's everybody going?
They're going to Jason's.
Good luck with Senior Assassin.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Tell him to drive safe during Senior Assassin. All right,
Thank you so much.
welcome. Bye.
Hit by a car during senior assassin.
Did you?
On Main Street.
Second.
Sweater for my bike.
All right, we're good. I'm just checking.
I blasted it.
All right, next up, it's public comments on agenda items only. These are only comments for items that are on the agenda. Can I have a motion to open the floor for public comment?
I'll make such a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Nobody online, man.
Are we all right? Anyone have any comments on agenda items? Yes. Oh, you got the mic got pulled over there.
Good evening. Good evening, Cindy Burnham, 71 Wallace. I just would like an explanation of this new job that we're giving to somebody, the $90,000 job.
That's the top end of the range. It's a range.
But what is the job? I'm just trying to understand what the job is. I think everybody knows.
Yeah, I actually explained it at the last council meeting. But it can't hurt, you're right. I'll say it again. The community engagement coordinator is a need that I recognized when I came to the borough, as far as reaching all aspects of our community. Letting all sides of town know what resources we have available to us. Enhancing our social media, currently in-house, we don't have a coordinated effort of that between all of our departments, making sure that the message that we're putting out to the community is controlled and coordinated. This individual will be working with all the different department heads under the administration directly, so myself, and reporting back to me. The goal is to find somebody that's bilingual and is able to put out any of our resources that we do have in both English and Spanish. As we recognize that that's definitely a hole in our publications. This individual is gonna obviously be a resource to the governing body as far as bringing message back from the community. So there's a funnel into Borough Hall and a funnel out of Borough Hall that's more coordinated. And then the enhancement of the borough events is going to be a main focus of this individual.
So is this kind of like it's not an IT guy, it's kind of like.
Oh, no.
No.
No, it's more of like a community connection person to local government. Sometimes people have a really tough time navigating local government. And it's our way of making sure that we're doing the best that we can to help people through that process. The only IT focus, I guess you could say, of the position would be our social media platforms. But IT is so far vast than that. They're not going to be programming or anything.
Public information.
And it's public information, correct? And the range, you said the $90,000 position, that's the top end of the range, just like all the other ones.
Right, and one more quick question, D. What's the revision to the fire department? Is it going up or is it going down?
So it reduces the percentage of calls that need to be responded to qualify for LoSAP. Many of our, in today's modern volunteer world, the amount of hours people can take, the current requirements are a little unrealistic for your average volunteer firefighter in 2024. It also really just does two things. So that's one.
Doesn't it match the state standard?
It could, the fire department recommended it. She asked me if it matches the state
It
standard.
changes it to match the state standard.
So
So although it's a lowering of the percentage of time, it is matching the state standard. It's not making it lower, it's making it to match the state
Every
standard.
town do this with the state standard? Is every town?
It matches the one in Bradley Beach that I did recently. So the requirements were kind of fine. I don't know about that. I don't know if that one even has LoSAP, but in Bradley Beach, I know that it matches that one. And the other thing it does is for new firefighters, because the training hours have exponentially increased since the last time the LoSAP was done. You need 50 points for the year to qualify for LoSAP. You previously got 40 for your training course, but the basic firefighter training course is over 90 hours at this point. So a first year firefighter.
200 hours.
200 hours. Show the firefighters. I just wrote the ordinance. It gives the first year firefighters automatic qualification if they pass the course and get their certificate, so that they can focus on going to the classes versus trying to worry about whether they can make other calls and things like that.
Thank you.
I'll just add to that really quickly, just a little quick briefer, because as we're.
What? You don't even need to, Kate. I.
No, this isn't just for you, Cindy. This is for the public in general. I just want to explain about the fire department and the structure we have in our town, because there's a lot of variables in different municipalities. Some municipalities have a fire commissioner that's actually directly elected, and that person has a lot of say over the taxation and things of that nature in their fire department. Some places there's all different structures. There's major variables, municipality, how they handle their fire department. In Red Bank, there is an executive council of the fire department. It is a body of people. It has a president, it has a treasurer. They oversee the department. There's representatives from each firehouse that are a part of that executive council. And when pieces like this come before the governing body, it's voted upon by that executive council of the fire department as the suggestions that the department wants to put forward. So I just think that's helpful for transparency's sake for people to understand that process, that when there's new apparatus that are being purchased by the borough, like when there were 2 engines that were purchased a while back, it's like, well, what was that process? That process was that executive council, the fire department, with representation from each house and its own president and treasurer and secretary, met. They all made those decisions and then they put that decision forward. So that is the process that this went through before coming to this governing body. That was the suggestions that came forward. And yeah, I just hope that's helpful to everybody. Thanks.
Mayor, I'd like to comment too.
Sure.
I'd also. I guess it's Cindy, but just in general, I just read it again today. And I want to do everything I can to help our volunteer fire department and first aid squad. Besides having the little simple sign, I don't volunteer at the fire department. I thought about it. So glad that you guys both do. Thank you very much. And those in the audience, but it's so expensive having a professional fire department. I used to work in Long Branch and they have one of these hybrid professional departments and volunteers. So anything as a council member, as a resident, I can do to support our volunteers, young and old in the department, I want to try to do within reason. And I think this streamlines and codifies in a way that is helpful, encourage, like, for example, helping, a person who goes through all that stuff at the beginning automatically qualifies to be in this program. I think that's a great thing. Because if we ever get to the point where we don't have enough volunteers, it's going to be a very expensive problem to fix. Because then we'll have to hire professional firefighters and, hire professional ambulance services, which are expensive. That's my comment.
Thank you, Ben. Anyone else have any comments on agenda items only? Take care, Joe.
Thank you again.
Anyone online? No? No more comments for agenda items, okay? Can I have a motion to close the floor for public comment on agenda items only?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you gotta approve, approval of minutes and reports. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from 4/11/2024?
I make a motion.
I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes from 4/11/2024?
I'll make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next up, we have a whole bunch of ordinances. First up is a public hearing and adoption of ordinance 2024-15, amending the salary ordinance of the Borough of Red Bank to include the new position of Community Engagement Coordinator. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any comments on this ordinance? Yes.
Almost 135 Branch Avenue. I'm going to ask you all to vote in favor of this. It sounds like a well-needed and coordinated improvement to the strings that used to be floating in the air with information. I think it's a good step. I think we should find the best way to for us and a bilingual person. Absolutely. Thank you for thinking of it and continue to do that work.
Good job, Jim.
Thank
you.
Anyone else have any comments on this ordinance? Yes.
I'm Nicole Tage from Hudson Avenue, and I just want to echo what Barbara said, because I think some of the things I've been doing, parents speak. It sounds like it's very worthwhile. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance only?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt 2024-15?
And I would like to make a comment on it.
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
okay.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, no, we got a roll
If
call.
you'd like the discussion.
Like-
after
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
motion. Second.
Go ahead, Ben.
I just want to comment that I plan to vote yes, for the reasons articulated, but one of the things I noticed that was whatever number of doors I knocked on in the various election cycles, as a consistent complaint by residents about lack of communication, trouble with knowing what's happening, not trouble, but difficulty in reaching the borough, the challenges in understanding what we're doing. I actually before sitting up here, it has occurred to me that borough needs to do better at communication. I've had my own challenges over the years. I'm glad that our borough manager has recognized this challenge. A borough manager can't do everything. Right now, we have a very haphazard internet setup where, you know, this department's doing that, this department's doing this, and I guess probably Mr. Gant is overseeing all that mess. And, you know, internet is, you know, you put something out on the internet that is wrong, it could have a lot of ramifications. So I think this is a good idea. I hope that it works with the other departments for in areas like running events where it will make sense. So I'm kind of excited that we are going to work at and put resources into improving the borough communication system because it sorely has needed improvement for a long time. That's my comment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ben.
Anybody?
Roll call, thank you.
I guess I'll just really briefly say that, I think we're gonna be setting a new standard. I think this is a really radical position. I think it's really modern government. It's combining a lot of needs for the borough. I mean, not only public information, but making sure our civic alert system is used properly, making sure our stuff is going out bilingual so that, you know, 36% of our population is getting the message in our community. I'm really excited by this position. This is the type of stuff that makes everybody up here, you know, feel like it's worth it to be up here, to make big changes. So, you know, whoever you are out there, you know, we're looking for somebody. I can't wait for it to be posted. I can't wait to find who fits the bill. So this is great. I'm really excited. I had to say that.
All right, anyone else have any comments? No. All right, so let's roll call.
Councilmember Bonatakis? Yes. Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood? Yes. Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, an introduction of 2024-16, approving a 2-year lease agreement for an approximately 5,000 square foot fenced in portion of real property located at 208 South Pearl Street, Red Bank, New Jersey, for the public purpose of a police impound yard. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-16 on introduction?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis? Yes. Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood? Yes. Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Public hearing for this ordinance will be on May 9th. And this is, Greg, just tell me if I'm wrong, this is just, we already have this as an impound lot, right?
This has been in place since 2018. It's where we've kept the impound yard. The lease expired and so we need a new one. And the rent is staying the same. So it's basically essentially been the same cost since 2019.
Okay, thank you. Next up is an introduction of 2024-17 ordinance amending chapter 355 filming to update the borough's commercial filmmaking regulations to seek film-ready certification from the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-17 on introduction?
I make such a motion.
I have a second. All right. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis? Yes. Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood? Yes. Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes, sir.
Thank you. Public hearing on this will be May 9th. I want to thank Councilman Cassidy for his hard work on this. Looks like we're running with a filmmaker. What are we gonna do with this guy? And now we found your purpose.
So many purposes.
We're ahead of the game and we need
Excellent.
to be forward facing right now with Netflix coming into the area and other municipalities will be looking at their ordinances and we're 2 steps ahead right now in building our relationship with the New Jersey Film Commission. I'm excited and I appreciate everyone's hard work on this.
Yeah, thank you again, David.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question on topic?
Sure.
So I don't know if when I read through the ordinance, maybe I just missed it. Is there, when we do filming in private parts of the town, you know, like on Locust Avenue, say, is there, the neighbors all gonna be notified by the production company or how does that work?
Greg, do you have the noticing on that?
Yeah, I couldn't see the
The
notice.
answer is yes.
The short answer is, yes. Essentially, it's in Jim's discretion. There used to be a 200-foot notice requirement in the ordinance, which was not recommended for film ready certification because it's onerous on people that don't normally do that sort of noticing. So it's largely in the discretion, placed largely in the discretion of the manager as the liaison to these people or his or her designee. And they will be able to require that. Also, none of the hours or anything that's being filmed in residential districts can be changed without the manager's say so, which would presumably involve perhaps the community engagement coordinator when the time comes.
Right, I was gonna say maybe that would be good, but I was just gonna, it occurred to me when I was reading through it that I would think that if you were filming for some reason on a street, that you would notify the neighbors and the houses there.
Yeah.
In advance.
So I was gonna say, just anecdotally, we recently had one
Mhm.
that lacked the notice to the businesses. And particularly the borough, but once I contacted the company, I made it very clear that notice to the businesses that you're gonna be around and impacting is essential and extremely important. So that's gonna be a the tenor of when I issue these permits, that public notice is given to surrounding homes, businesses, anybody that's gonna affect.
All right, thank you. I assumed that, but I didn't see it in there, so. Thank you.
Okay, next up, introduction 2024-18, amending chapter 64, fire department to revise the annual eligibility requirements for the borough's length of service awards program for volunteer firefighters. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-18 on introduction?
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna recuse myself from a vote on this particular ordinance, and I just want that noted in advance.
Mayor, I will also be recusing myself.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve on introduction?
I'll be happy to make that motion.
Can I have a second?
Second,
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Accused.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes, and I'm very grateful to our volunteers. Thank you very much. All of you.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tridiano?
Recused.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
And passes, sir.
Thank you. Public hearing on this will be on May 9th. Next up is an introduction of 2024-19 ordinance amending chapter 731, article 2. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-19 on introduction?
Hold.
Could, I have something, this is the one on chickens, right?
Yep.
Together, okay, I have something from TJ, because he couldn't come tonight, should I read that?
He's the owner of Fins and Feathers.
The owner of Fizz and Feathers, and he's on the Animal Welfare Committee.
Sure.
He couldn't make it tonight, I'm sorry. On behalf of the Animal Welfare Committee, I'd like to advise the council that after discussing the poultry fowl ordinance and comparing it with many other municipalities, which I was at the meetings where we did that because I'm the liaison to animal welfare. We proposed a few changes. The changes include a minimum and maximum number of hens per household, 4 and 12. TJ told us a lot about chickens, right? So we know that chickens don't like to be alone, so they have to have a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 12. On the previous ordinance, it was 40 feet. We think that's too far because many of the lots in Red Bank are smaller than that. So they came up with a 12 to 15 foot distance, but the borough is going to go with 12 feet from any inhabited structure, and all eggs for personal, not commercial or any other use. All of these changes will be beneficial to current residents who have flocks and also those who are interested in adding fresh eggs in a natural form of pest control to their property. These changes will also be beneficial to the animals and will not allow overcrowding. The committee will work with the council and residents to educate and expand knowledge to protect and encourage good husbandry. There are many residents, and we have 2 people here from Animal Welfare in the audience, Carla and Paul. There are many residents who have chickens in their neighborhood already and are unaware. Thank you for behalf of the Animal Welfare Committee. That's from TJ Moss.
It's a chair.
And he, Paul's the chair right here. So that's cool. And Carla's on our committee. I wanted to add a few other things from the health standpoint. Because I like social determinants of health, that's me. Besides eating the bugs and ticks and things like that, it also stops food waste. You can put your food that you have, that gets left over, you can give it to the chickens. And also food insecurity, which is a big problem right now. As we just came from lunch break where they cut the ribbon, Nancy and I go to, Bingo Pals Food Pantry every week. There's a big problem with food insecurity, and we have Ethel in the back who volunteers at the Bingo Pals Food Pantry.
Definitely use more eggs.
So we do need, I think this will help with food insecurity also. Paul, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think the only thing that, we're gonna be working on in the future is really the educational piece. And really getting the community really to understand, well, not only what we're trying to do, but more importantly, how to go forward. So as an example, Laura and I were talking, there's a bird flu thing going on right now. And, I think the community has to understand, what do you do or what don't you do? And there are the type of things that I think we just need to make sure that we quickly get working. And we will.
And to add to that with the educational piece, right? Going back to that social media, that's gonna be a big help for us. And doing some of
All right, thank you, guys.
So they voted unanimously on this.
Advising.
Okay. So, where were we? Can I have a motion to approve 2024-19 on introduction?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes, and the Environmental Commission approves what animal welfare is doing with the chicken ordinance, so thank you.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
And Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public hearing for this will be on May 9th. The chickens are coming, Red Bank. Okay, next up, introduction of 2024-20, authorizing acceptance of a cross-access and utility easement in connection with land use approvals granted to RayRapRealty.com Inc. for a development project located at Harding Road, Hudson Avenue, Clay Street. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-20 on introduction?
Sure, yes.
I have a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Public hearing on this ordinance will be on May 9th. Next up, an introduction for 2024-21, adding new chapter 539 salt storage to the borough's revised general ordinances to establish standards for the storage of salt and other solid de-icing materials in accordance with NJDEP requirements. Very, very sexy ordinance.
Very needed.
Yes, very needed. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-21 on introduction?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes, on the sexy ordinance.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes, sir.
Thank you. Public hearing for this ordinance will be on May 9th. Next up, introduction of 2024-22, amending and supplementing section 680-60, schedule 26, restricted parking for handicapped persons. Can I have a motion to approve 2024-22 on introduction?
I make a motion.
I have a second.
Second.
I have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facey Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trigiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Public hearing for this ordinance will be on May 9th. Jim, on the resolutions, there's a note here. Are we,
On that.
oh yeah, okay, so we're pulling. Okay, so,
I'm gonna request if we can, I'm gonna say pull the resolution at 24-115, which reads, the setting extra duty rate schedule. I was approached by the PBA and they would like to just have some more discussions internally, before they present that back to the borough. But I just wanted on the record that we were prepared to, make a change tonight in the extra duty rate schedule, but I am honoring their request to have further discussions internally.
I'll make a motion to table 24, remove
24-115.
remove.
I'll second that. Sorry, Laura.
Right?
roll call or all?
All in favor? Aye.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Next up, can I have a motion to approve resolutions 24-110 through 24-116 without 24-115?
I'll make such a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonatakis?
Yes.
Councilmember Cassidy?
Yes.
Councilmember Facie Blackwood?
Yes.
Councilmember Forrest?
Yes.
Councilmember Janone?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tridiano?
Yes.
Mayor Portman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next up, under discussion and action, we have a couple of special events coming up. Did we approve this last time, or is it? Does it need approval?
Yes.
All right, so, we'll do these all at once, but first up, we have a Record Riot Street Fair on Mechanic Street on Saturday, May 11th and Saturday, September 7th. We have the St. Anthony Procession for the Feast of St. Anthony on Saturday, June 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have the Mayor's Wellness Campaign fundraising, cycling and walking event on Saturday, May 18th. Can I have a motion to approve these special events?
I'll make such a motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You got me saying I'll make such a motion then.
Yeah, well, that's the commercial vehicle discussion.
Right. Okay, for discussion, we have an item for amending chapter 680, vehicles and traffic, overweight vehicles, 680-4, limiting the use, 680-39 exclusion, and 490-50 storage.
It's essentially a workshop item.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to bring us up to speed?
Just, this was brought up at the last meeting. Actually, it's been brought up from a number of concerned residents, which we are hearing out, especially through council, through office hours. Particularly, Councilman Forrest discussed this at the last meeting. But actually, Captain Frazee, if you wouldn't mind just coming up, because in case there's something you want to interject to as well. But I just was hoping to workshop this a little bit, the ordinance change potentially with reference to commercial vehicle parking on residential streets. We've been getting a number of concerns and complaints about large vehicles. And I just want to make a distinction that I don't think that any one of us, and again, the borough is, the governing body are the ones that are going to set policy for the borough. But I don't think that the concern are those vehicles that have stickers on the side of their trucks promoting their businesses, or work vehicles to get to and from work that are parked on residential roads or at people's homes. But more so, the complaints that we're getting are those that are, boom trucks and oversized, maybe dual rear axle vehicles, those that are particularly over 10,000 pounds. Those vehicles pose a problem as far as sightline visibility issues on those streets, really shrinking the roadway for emergency vehicle access. Those are some of the concerns that we have, and also for pedestrian safety in particular. We've been seeing that these vehicles are parking closer to the stop sign than they maybe should be, parking closer to pedestrian crosswalks than they should be, and the police are going out and enforcing that aspect. But it's a matter of seeing if there's a way that we can regulate this to keep those vehicles off the roads overnight. Because it's, if this is a part of somebody's business, they should take into account, in my opinion, and the opinion that I'm presented to the council, that they should be taking into account the storage of their vehicle to conduct their business. But I definitely wanted to make that differentiation between the larger 10,000 plus, if that's the number that we're looking to use. We're going to research that a little bit more, versus the standard work truck, the standard work van. So there's going to be a little bit of finesse with us looking at the ordinance and making sure that it's applicable, that it's enforceable, and it's something that we are taking into account that this is a working community, and we want to be sure that we are addressing the needs, addressing the concerns, keeping in mind the quality of life issues, but at the same time, not taking away somebody's livelihood. I think that that's really important to strike that balance. So a couple solutions is that, you know, just stating that it's not an all-out ban on commercial vehicles like some towns do. Identify which types of vehicles are prohibited for overnight parking. Whether or not we define that by class and weight, or define it by size, including the length, width, and height, or define it by a certain amount of axles. Traffic safety, Sergeant Cover just, recently came back from vacation this past week. So we've been in discussion with Sergeant Cover to make sure that we are taking into account all the anecdotal stories that we've been hearing from residents, bringing that forward, seeing what we're actually seeing on the streets, so that we kind of can better craft this ordinance, if that's what the desire of the Borough Council policy setting is.
Are we just focusing on parking, or are we talking about oversized trucks using, residential roads? Because I had
Overnight parking.
Okay, because I had a resident come meet with me who lives in Irving. And he says, a lot of trucks that are not supposed to be on residential roads use that as a cut through to go from like Broad to Maple.
So those by weight, yeah.
So, under Borough Code Section 680-39, at present, if the truck is over 4 tons, it's entirely excluded from the entire length of Irving Place, except for the pickup and delivery of materials. So you can get your furniture delivery, but in terms of traversing the street, the residence that's existing. Yeah, so that's more of an enforcement issue than legislative.
And that's something that could be done through a traffic detail or. Right. Are there any, I'm just curious if there's any other questions or concerns that the council would like us to consider when crafting this?
I just want to say, I really like the direction you're taking here. I want, actually, I'm okay with people having their work vehicles in front of their house or whatever, or nearby. What's also becoming a problem, though, is that even if you don't go to axles, for some reason, very large, oversized, sort of light monster trucks have become very popular, and they take up multiple spots, take up 2 spots. And it's fine. I look at a very large minivan or regular, this pickup truck, and then, there's these, I don't know what they call them, these, very large, oversized pickup trucks that are, you'd think they would be on some monster truck, show maybe. And, so I do think that it's just, at some point, it gets to be inconsiderate of others when you take up multiple spots to park your giant truck, not to mention the visibility things that you're mentioning about, particularly around corners, of course. Recently in our neighborhood, we had a bucket truck, which you so nicely mentioned, and that's obviously really inappropriate, I think, for a neighborhood. I don't really care if somebody does it once or twice, maybe some emergency at work, or they have to go somewhere at 5 in the morning. But I don't think our street should be basically a commercial parking space for trucks. Unless we come up with some system where, they have some parking lot designated. And some of these delivery trucks that somehow go home now can be extremely impossible to see around. They're not like regular trucks anymore. So I'm not quite sure how you're gonna put a handle on that, Captain Frazee. But I'm giving you my own opinion as one council.
I'm happy to hear that the direction is about, safety. And I know the last time we had a conversation about this, there is already enforcement to ensure that there's no vehicle parked within X amount of feet from a stop sign. That's already being enforced. The unhitched trailers being enforced. I don't want to get into legislating aesthetics. I really want this to be purely about safety. You know, and making it so that it's enforceable. I want the changes to be enforceable, right? Like, I don't want it to be speculated when looking at a vehicle. Is it enough pounds? Is it not enough pounds? You know, and I think that what you two kind of identified in that size of truck, I believe that's fair to legislate that that's not allowed to park overnight. This isn't my first time talking about this on the dais. I think the last time I was up here, I said something along the lines of some people drive a Mercedes to work and other people drive a work truck. And that's still how I feel about this issue as a resident of the West Side for over a decade. But I just want to make it clear, this isn't just a West Side issue. This is a whole Red Bank issue. Just last year, the mayor and I were up on the dais and we were hearing issues from Spring Street on the east side. And one of the suggestions the residents made at that time was to ban overnight commercial vehicle parking. I think that was John Dykeman from Spring Street over there. So, you know, we wanna handle this carefully, but this is why when you have a governing body that trusts their experts, we're looking to you. You know, we are not the experts on this, and we want to craft legislation that puts safety first and not, you know, division of the community or any socioeconomic division.
I agree. You know, we get a lot of complaints, from the residents about the oversized trucks, and some are really big. They've, the manufacturers today are developing these trucks to, I don't know, take on whatever you come across, but I've noticed over the years that, they tend to stick out further from the curb, they're wider. I know sometimes on Layton Avenue or even down on Broad Street, you ride past the parking stall, and it's like, man, that truck's like really hanging out the road. And it's something we really have to take into consideration, I think, overall safety of it for just the town.
So what are you proposing? Can you use the mic? Oh. Yeah, what do you think? No pressure.
Right on this.
I like to get stuff done.
But can I just ask a quick question before you go in with what you're proposing? What is the impact it would have with vehicles that have attached trailers to it?
Good question.
So as you're doing a proposal, can you address that?
Impact of the size of the truck?
Well, I don't know. How are we addressing that in any way? I'm just curious.
I think you just came to get feedback from us. You're not proposing anything yet.
Okay,
Proposing anything, yeah.
all right, great,
I'm here listening to you.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wondered, how do we handle something like that? You know, there's,
An unhitched trailer is an unhitched trailer.
no, hitched. It's hitched against, you know, like say a Ford F-350 and then there's a trailer, because that's the biggest car I could think of. I'm looking at the car people there and with a trailer attached. So like, how does,
Right now, there's no ordinance against.
no ordinance against that?
We can even look at it for that.
Right. Okay.
I'm aware.
No, we just did the unhitched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The notion is if it's hitched, we can move it out of the way. The unhitched is, if there's no way to move it at all, could be a real problem. That was the lowest hanging fruit when
Right.
this issue first came up. The 10,000 pound limit is the motor carrier, federal motor carrier exception
mhm.
for the drivers of those vehicles. That seems like a good, threshold. I don't think we should focus on the commercial versus the personal nature.
Yes.
So for example, a tradesman who has an F-150 with the company name on the side parked in front of, his or her house is less of a concern than someone who has their personal RV that's the size of, a semi-trailer out in front of the house. So
Right.
I think the exception isn't really so much, or the regulation isn't, it's the type of vehicle that we're really looking at. I think that has to be the focus of the ordinance
Well said.
to be effective. Takes all the speculation out of it.
Yep.
You could pretty quickly Google on your phone in 2024, the gross vehicle weight of pretty much any commercially available vehicle unless it's been heavily modified. So I think our officers are pretty well equipped to handle that sort of thing. Also, I believe the register, forgive me, your area of expertise. When you run the plate on a vehicle, like you can tell whether it's commercial. Do they tell you, can you tell what class of vehicle it is in terms of weight?
If they purposely register that vehicle, it will say what class it is. Sometimes they don't.
Okay, so that's hit or miss, but there are tools available to
There's
figure out.
available and stuff like that. They can refer to that to make their determination whether or not to issue or enforce a ticket.
That was my, when this issue came out, it has to be focused really on the weight of the vehicle, classification of the vehicle, something other than what the vehicle is being used for, because that gets subjective and otherwise. And is it really now tailored to the purpose, which is getting trucks and oversized vehicles off the street for safety purposes. So that was my thoughts on the regulation.
So what's next? What's the next step?
Actually, an ordinance, right?
Yeah, I think we would take we craft an ordinance and we'd bring it back here, probably workshop it and have a discussion about it. You know, after Captain brings it to his traffic officers and they have comment, they're the ones who are actually literally looking at this stuff every day. And we get that kind of feedback and then we go from there. You know, and we announce to the community that we're considering this sort of thing. So you people affected by it, no doubt, just driving down the roads anywhere in this town. Tell people so that they can come out and let us know what the, you know, for example, it's always been my experience of regulating parking or traffic, that it's not a magic wand that makes it disappear. So if you ban the parking on this street, the people will find another street to park on. And so hearing from people what their possible alternatives are, or if you guys are out on the streets and you're in contact with the community, finding out, hey, if this wasn't allowed to be here, what would you do with it? Might be a helpful, you know, step two sort of, you know, exercise in understanding that once we do X, what is why that's gonna happen. So I think that's, Jim and I will work on that. I'll work on some drafting. We'll bring it back to you guys. Okay.
Anybody have anything else on it, though, that we should share with them before they start to work on it, or?
I know when we were going around door to door, this was brought up a lot. I'm glad that it's being brought forward because it was a big complaint of a lot of people. They can't get out of their driveways because the vehicles are so on Spring Street, for instance, they can't see beyond it when they're trying to get out. So
And
it is a problem.
Spring Street has a lot of apartments.
Yes,
Right?
so
So
people,
they're not allowed, and the commercial vehicles aren't even allowed in the apartments on the
Yeah.
private property. So that's, you know.
so they
that's a
park on
problem.
the other side of the street and then people can't get out of the driveways, they can't see around
Right,
it.
for people's houses.
Yeah.
That's a common problem. Okay, thank you. Keep that in mind. Thank you.
I think Christina wants to.
I just have a really quick question while we have both of you here. I guess for Greg and the captain, Greg, do most municipalities regulate something like this by weight? And Captain, do you think that that's the most practicable, or is there is measurement with height sometimes more valuable? I also think that moving toward EVs, for example, they might be heavier but smaller, so just trying to future proof
I
this.
think some surrounding towns have ordinances based off of no commercial vehicles allowed to park on the street at nighttime. I think if you go by the weight limit or class size of some of the vehicles, I think that will probably get us to where we're looking at, where it's a little bit safer for the community and for pedestrians and bicyclists, just overall traffic in general. But, you know, that can be discussed.
Yeah, I mean, the overall, I think the issue that I had a crystal ball. It's very difficult to tell, one thing that's definitely going to be in this ordinance is boats, right? So can't keep boats on the street.
Right.
It's hard to distinguish from a legal perspective, the difference between a trailer that has a boat on it and a trailer that has 6 commercial lawnmowers on it. And that is something that I just being in town for many years, know that that's going to be the sticking point where those trailers go and whether there's any place available. I will throw this out here. Former Councilman Yingstrom had the notion that the borough could rent overnight parking in the empty commercial parking lots that are empty all night so that people could get those off the street. I've heard that set up here. That was the only real solution I've ever heard anyone suggest.
Haven't heard Eric brought up in a minute.
But I know that that's going to be the most difficult part. You can't tell people, it's gonna be very difficult from a legal perspective to tell people you can't keep a boat on the road, but you can keep a landscaping trailer on the road. And I know that, I've seen them on the road here, and clearly people live here because they see the same one all the time. Or, you know, multitude of them. So where they go, because they're not just gonna disappear, is that information is gonna be really vital to making this actually work, I think. Having sat up here for a while and heard this for a while.
So, Captain, is that like an initiative that you think that the department would want to be a part of and when identifying vehicles, or, you know, we see that there's a lot that we could maybe make available for that initiative? Is that something that you could dedicate some time to?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Cool.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you. That's right. Okay, next up, we're gonna open the floor for public questions and comments. A couple of caveats. One, I'm gonna ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. And two, I'm gonna ask anybody who lives here in Red Bank and wants to discuss some municipal business to come up so you don't have to wait. I'm gonna give you guys a priority. So, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Motion to open the floor for public.
Make such a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Barbara Boas, 135 Bridgetown. Excuse my voice, I think the allergies. I have a philosophical thought about what's going on in Red Bank, what's been going on in Red Bank, and what continues to go on in Red Bank. And it's semantics. It's all kinds of things that don't make any sense. Red Bank is one town. I have lived here my entire life, basically. My whole family has lived here for over a century. I will say I am sick and tired of people saying the east side and the west side. You have Layton Avenue, you have Spring Street. If you don't know where they are, find them. But you don't, it adds a divisive context to this town. And we are a divisive town. And I really would like, and I would love to have it start with the council not using those phrases. Because as I said, most of the people know where all the streets are, whether they are on the east side, the west side. I've never heard anybody say, I live on the south side of Red Bank, or I live on the north side of Red Bank. Those things, and it drives me crazy, guys. It really does. I think it is really not a good thing for this town. One little tiny family. Crazy Uncle Joe over there, but you know, let's face it, we need to be one complete family. And if we keep using those words over and over and over, people really believe there are two different rules, there are two different sets of laws. There are as many of everything that we hear about on the west side, on the east side, the south side, and the north side. My 3 minutes are up, I guess, and that's just something I'd like to think of.
Thank you.
Barbara.
It's a good point, very good point.
Barbara, if I could just say, I'm right here. It's Kate. Hi.
My head's spinning.
I just want to say that I live on the west side and I think we're at a, yes, and I think we're at a point of being very proud of the west side and the community that's being built there and the connections to the east side. I agree with you that there should be no division against the two. But I think when we're talking about unique neighborhoods and unique needs, it's okay to identify those unique neighborhoods and those unique needs. That's not to say that the services to all areas of town are not equal. They are. We make sure of that. But I do feel an identity with my neighborhood, the protection of that. And it's said from a point of pride. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I think the west side is going through a really great time right now. And as you were saying those comments, I was looking at the students' faces in the back. And I think maybe they agree with me too, that they have a sense of pride of their neighborhood. And you can use the name. It's like saying we do see the differences. There's beautiful differences in the town. There's a tapestry of community. So I think it's okay to recognize that.
It's not just that part of it. It's the fact that it is used as a divisive.
Some people will use anything to sound divisive, the same way you can use language to.
Every sector of Red Bank.
Mhm.
Houses in Red Bank.
Yep.
East side, west side, north, south.
Yep.
I will tell you, I don't think of it as anything but Red Bank.
Yep, I think it's wonderful that we are a town and I also think of it as being Red Bank, but I think there is something to be said of having pride in your micro community and, you know, I think it's a beautiful thing and the same way that everybody should feel pride in where they live. And I think at a moment where people are really proud of the west side, it's not the moment that I would tell them to stop using it.
Jimmy.
Jim Dark, 48 West Sunset Avenue. This is continuing from what I was just saying down for the Sunset. I said, you don't need a park. But the reason I'm saying this is so many, and this like on the news, it came up on, they had 3 parks with on the same road, and all 3 parks are contaminated. They keep telling the people they're gonna fix it, and they said, but before this, they had a school that was contaminated. And I said, engineers are engineers, but nobody can fix a problem. It's been laying there, they don't know how many years, it's been laying there 60, 80 years, 100 years. And I'm saying that, you don't take people's lives and use them as guinea pigs. Can't fix something that is not dangerous, because it's a health hazard. So many people you run into live like in Long Branch, and look down here in Trenton, looking down the street from Social Service Building and Freehold. And these places is all jacked up. And I always say, you have to respect people's opinion, because nobody can think for a person how they feel, what they're gonna be in danger with, if my health is gonna be messed up. And they said they're gonna go in there, they're gonna clean it up. If you're gonna do something, do what you said the first time. Don't go back and say, oh, we're gonna clean it up and cap it. Now, in the future, it might be a possible harm. My thing is, why would you wouldn't put everybody who has kids in here, or don't have kids, or people have animals, why would you put somebody in danger to inhale this stuff? And it's a bad taste experience to just sit there and think about. And these engineers talk, we could do something. You can't do what the man upstairs did. You know what I mean by that? You can't do what God did. And God would not put people in danger, their life and health and safety and danger, because it's really to me, it's all about a penny or a dime. It's not about safety, how people feel, because it's very discretion thing to sit, to just keep hearing it. This popped up on the TV. I ain't asked them, I was on the TV. 3 parks on the same road. The people lived there, they put these parks there. Now people say the kids have to wipe the shoes off. So everybody has to wipe the shoes off when they go in the house. And they might get sick from this. Nobody's here, doctor, scientist, and surgeon in this room. And nobody will come in here and talk about, even these engineers won't come and say that. So I'm just saying, you got to think about people's lives. You don't take that and just use it as a token and do whatever happens to them, this happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Yes.
Good evening again, Cindy Burnham, 71 Wallace Street. I have a question regarding the new graffiti ordinance. The other day I picked up 13 taped flyers from a tattoo parlor in Matawan. And I didn't know what to do with them because I knew we had this new code and it covered flyers. So I called code said, oh, you take it to the police. And I took it to the police and they told me that freedom of speech, anybody can tape up anything or put stickers anywhere, it's freedom of speech. And I showed him this, I brought the ordinance and it's trick, it clearly says anything on public property or town property, it goes against it. So then I went to Mr. Gant and I just wanted to get an update on what's the story?
I turned it over to code where it should have stayed. I think Frankie followed up on that. I know Tommy discussed that with Frankie, right?
Well done.
Yep, I know that the business that was in question was notified. I don't know if a warning was issued or an actual violation. A notice of violation was issued. So it was dealt with in code where it should be.
So whenever anybody comes up with the flyers, code is the place to go.
That's correct.
Okay, another protocol I wanted to know about, because I discovered an illegal Airbnb this past week. And I called the police. What's this, how do we handle that? What's the protocol? If somebody comes across an illegal Airbnb?
Also code.
What if it's in the evening? These people come in at night.
Well, that would probably fall under a noise complaint or
See the captain.
It wouldn't be noisy. It would just,
Captain Frazee can help you out.
I think the way we handle it is that we go there, we document who's there, what purpose, the reason why they're there. And then the next day we notify code. So we're actually,
you're the.
we could be subpoenaed to court on behalf of the code.
What happens, like these guys were fishermen?
Yes,
So.
so that information I think was forwarded, so.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, they admitted being there, they admitted
oh, yeah. they're
renting the
nice
house and
guys,
all
But
that.
the owner
Yeah.
denied everything.
Of course.
Yeah, I know. Parking up, and again, it doesn't have a driveway, they were parking on the lawn. And so I just want to know how to handle these things and where to go, because somebody sent it to somebody, they sent it to somebody
So
else.
if it's after hours, contact the police department, we'll document it, and then we'll forward it.
Great. Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Keeping code busy. They appreciate it.
I love code.
Thank you. Anyone else have any? Yeah, cool.
Nicole Tate, 153 Hudson Avenue. I want to thank you all, because I know Marine Park is favorite forward. You guys, heard a lot of us residents who want to see something done there, and it looks like you guys are getting it done. I definitely had a lot of questions this week based on, as I learned more about the plan. And one thing I was thinking about on the way here was that, why did I read about this in like Tri-City? Why am I referring to this red being free hardball from like 2019 or whatever? And I was thinking, well, there's no PR person in the town, and I work in PR and marketing, so I'm like, well, I can't really expect that of Jim Gant or anyone on the council. So, as we were talking about the new position earlier, I'm really excited to hear about that. And I think, whoever that is, hopefully they can be the cheerleader for this project. And also hope you all get credit for what you're doing, because that is a skill set that is valuable. I think if it's at the upper range of what we're looking for, that's great, because I value what I do or what my colleagues do. And I think that's going to be a really great addition to the town. Because I know a lot of people are really excited about it, and they're not fully aware of what the plan is. So I look forward to that person championing this effort and seeing it to its fruition. And thank you all for your work to make it happen and for keeping your promises. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. You're using it. We're proud of you for using it well, for not forgetting it up in the house.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we missed you.
We're happy to have you back, Ethel.
Thank you. Ethel Brandon, 12 Bank Street. I know you guys have this thing out here for the polls. Why is it being changed?
Laura, you want to take this one?
Sure, I was gonna discuss it. I think Jim was gonna sit over to me. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what ends up happening every 10 years, give me a second. New Jersey's congressional and legislative maps are redrawn. So every 10 years, they use the census data and they redraw it because people move in, people move out. So based on the fluctuations of the population, you want to make sure everybody has fair representation. So after the last census, the county, Monmouth County Board of Elections, they started to compile all of their data, put everything together. They had engineers working on it, and they made suggestions for all the changes that they were going to have in redistricting for Monmouth County. Of the 53 municipalities in Monmouth County, and we were one that we had some changes as well that they were proposing, but of the 53, only 4 are actually being changed. The only thing that's being changed for us, the districts are staying the same, but the polling places are changing. So the Calvary Baptist Church, they have received a lot of concerns about the size of it, that it's a little bit on the small side. So now that we have the senior center is open again, and we want to show off that lovely building as well, Monmouth County Board of Elections decided they were going to take District 6 and District 9 and move them over to the senior center because it can accommodate both, and it has the ADA accommodations as well.
I spoke to I saw Lisa Richardson today, and she also was not happy with it, but recognized it's a county decision. But one thing we did talk about, I talked about with Lisa and with Laura, is figuring out a schedule to making the van that we have at the senior center available for transporting people back and forth to make sure I can get to the polls.
I have another question for you. How many people know about this?
Today.
We don't get this, that this is where we're going to be voting at?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this
It's asked the
just,
same question. So we'll answer the answer.
this just came up. So, it was just, I think last week that we were notified. So it's the responsibility of the Monmouth County Board of Elections to notify all the voters in the impacted districts. However, to reinforce that, my department is going to be mailing out postcards as well that's what basically I'm gonna be putting out, what you see in front of you. That's why I shared it this evening. So we'll be sending postcards to all the residents in District 6 and District 9. And I'm also gonna have signs printed and we will put them at the polling places. So this way, when people pull up, they'll see the signs and know that's not where they're supposed to be. Because even as late as the last election, we still had people going to the firehouse.
I have a question. I know that it was discussed a while back about the cones being in the street, that you shouldn't have a cone in the street to have your parking space up. What happens if you have it in front of your house? Not in front of your house. No, I called the police department. And I called them yesterday. As a matter of fact, there's a house across the street. That's a code out there every morning to keep the parking space there. And the police come by, they just keep on going down the street. They don't do anything about it. So I just want to know, what do you do?
Oh, Captain.
They told me, oh, you can go across the street and take it out yourself. I'm not doing that. That's not my job.
John, do you want to address that one?
Collection of cones.
I'm not dealing with anger yet for holidays.
Well, unfortunately, the residents don't own the spot in front of their house, so a lot of people who have these bigger cars again and or trailers or whatever, they try to hold the spot in front of their house. We see it often. Unfortunately, the police officer, if he did call, they should have picked it up and moved it. You know,
No, I called down there. I talked to Teresa. Not Teresa. What's her name? God. Anyway, I talked to her.
dispatcher or traffic. Heather.
Heather.
Yep.
Dr. Heather, and she told me, you can go across the street and move it. Well, that's not my job. So I said, could you please,
Next time you call and ask for me.
I said, could you please, I said, could you please send an officer over to check it out? She said, well, what we'll do is we'll go up and down the street and see if it gets moved out anytime this week. And I'll do it again this morning, so.
What's the address on it?
15 Bank Street.
15. Take care. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think we're gonna be owning a new cone.
Have a collection of cones, right?
I got a use for one down at the firehouse. They're expensive.
Anyone else have any thing for Red Bank before we move on to, yeah.
Previously.
Yeah.
Not a battling. Oh, no crutches.
It's supposed to be using your.
Let's go.
Came in with it. We just congratulated you.
How could you know this never happened?
Yeah, you're not using it.
I don't have to yell at you for not using.
Yeah.
State your names and addresses or. Hi, my name is Selena Martinez Santiago and I live on 136 Shrewsbury Avenue.
Madeline Sanchez, 379 Shrewsbury Ave. Betsy Varela, 65 West Sunset Avenue.
Dear Mayor and Council, we wanted to personally thank you for your attendance and assistance at a recent Red Bank community cleanup last Saturday. Your continuous support of our club and the responsiveness you have had towards our youth in our town is greatly appreciated. A special shout out goes out to Deputy Mayor Kate Triviano and Councilwoman Laura Denone for their generous donations toward the event. To Councilwoman Nancy Facey Blackwood for her collaboration in securing supplies, planning the event, coordinating with the DPW, and rallying more volunteers. And we also want to shout out Borough Manager Jim Gant for helping us coordinate logistics, and of course, we also want to thank Mayor Portman and Councilwoman Christina Lotakis for being at the event and helping us beautify our event. In total, we had 51 volunteers, which is very much far exceeding our expectations. Every time we have the privilege of watching how well and efficiently you all work together, it makes us feel so lucky to have such an extraordinary group of people made to be on fun. We thank you for all the work you do and your willingness to create spaces in which citizens can engage
in all community work. And we thank you for creating a space for you to volunteer with all of you and participate and work so closely, because it truly has been such an honor, and we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Dr. Reinhardt, don't graduate.
We want to thank you, and I've been wearing my buttons proudly. They designed these buttons, and when we were picking up trash, we got these buttons, and they designed them, right? And had them made. Says Dreamers Red Bank Cleanup, and then it says in Spanish, which you guys could say better than me, because my Spanish is great. No, dreaming of a cleaner world is what it is, and it's a beautiful button. I'm gonna wear it all the time.
She does.
I do.
That was good.
I went for lunch break.
Have it on my, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And I want to thank you
Thanks for everything.
very much.
You guys are great.
Yeah,
Go dream.
thank you. We're great.
Stop growing up.
Yeah.
They're going to
Anyone
college.
else just have any Red Bank issues? I want to make sure residents are heard before we open up the floor. Okay, opening up the floor to everyone. Yes, Georgina.
They're so good. So good. They're amazing organizers.
Council people, I'm a resident of Red Bank. I know what you're saying. My name is Regina Shanley. I live on 115 Byron Road. And once again, I'm here to request that you pass the resolution for a ceasefire. That you at least put it on the agenda and vote on it. I know you're compassionate. I have a letter here that was written by Mayor Portman less than a week after the October 7th massacre of the 1,200 Jewish or Israeli, actually just Israeli people, and the taking of hostages. And this is from October 13th, written on the Borough of Red Bank letterhead, and it's a public notice. I am sickened by the brutal attacks in Israel this past week. As a Jew, I feel a sense of helplessness as friends in Israel are under assault by the terrorist group Hamas. I am saddened by the senseless loss of life, but let me be clear. I stand with Israel. While I may not always agree with political leanings in Israel, I certainly recognize Israel's right to exist peacefully. Excuse me, could you please stop talking? I certainly recognize Israel's right to exist peacefully. Although I have not been to Israel in many years, I have forged relationships with Israelis that have stood the test of time. There is simply no justification for the brutality inflicted upon Israeli citizens, especially teens and children. I have been in touch with both Rabbi David Harrison and Chief McConnell. Our police department is on heightened alert to make sure that every Jewish resident feels safe. Shabbat Shalom. It's very kind and it represents Red Bank. And yet what you're saying is you cannot vote on this ceasefire resolution because it has nothing to do with Red Bank locally and it would cause divisiveness. We have a situation where 3 mass graves have been found in the Nasser Medical Center and Shifa Hospital, where 392 bodies have been discovered, some with still IVs in them, shot in the head, some with handcuffs, some with medical uniforms on them. When will this end? We need your help. We need you to be a representative to our elected officials and to the president to say, stop the killing, release the hostages, give full humanitarian aid. The Palestinians have a right to exist, a right to a homeland, and a right to defend themselves. You have to acknowledge that, Mr. Portman, since you acknowledged how you stand with Israel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Sure.
Thank you. My name is Musa Naji. I'm here at the Council on American Islamic Relations. I'm here from Newark. And I just want to back up the point.
Can you go to your mic?
Organization, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, the Council on American Islamic Relations is the largest civil rights and advocacy organization.
Thank you.
In Canton, New Jersey is one of the chapters, 36 across the US. Here a call for a vote on the ceasefire in Gaza. I understand that there's the concerns that it is, but I just agree, it's not. Or the amendment, the resolution itself was for the release of the hostages, was for the ceasefire in Gaza, was for the reinstate of the funding and to go into Gaza. A call for a ceasefire means the hostages are released, innocent civilians are allowed to live in Gaza. Both sides get something out of it that we're asking for. A call for a ceasefire, at least having a vote on it. I always hear the issue that it's not a local issue, but it is one. And I commemorate the letter that you sent out, the statement that you sent out in support with Israel. But again, the state and the House, the Senate and the House just passed a bill to send $26.4 billion to Israel. 14 billion of that is for. We won't need to send $14 billion to Israel if there was a ceasefire already. And this is our taxpayer. This is every single person in here who pays taxes sent money to fund a war that's going on in Gaza. We're sending money to support, to give weapons to Israel to continue this. If there was a ceasefire, there won't be no money. That 26.4 billion would have been used for American citizens, American taxpayers in this country. Israel has the luxuries of having free healthcare, free education. We don't have those luxuries, and we should. I mean, again, that's not up to here, but having a right to just vote on the ceasefire is not divisive to one, because it benefits both sides, and two, it is a local issue because it's our taxpayers that we're using to fund this ongoing war in Gaza. So that's just the points I wanted to make. Thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you. Yes, next.
Alan Edison.
I think Alan had his hand up first.
Good evening. I'm Paul Chinese Street. You know, I don't know how many months now we've been doing this and trying to raise the issue of the Gaza ceasefire in front of this council. And it's kind of depressing, really, to think that we're heading for our 7th month. Since the last time we spoke to you, probably a few hundred more people are dead, a few hundred more children may be dead as well, and orphans. And even more, well, not, I was going to say interesting, that's not the word, but is the fact that the lies of Netanyahu, the IDF, are slowly unraveling, as we've heard, by the exposure of the deaths in these hospitals and other atrocities. Things have moved on. The young in this country now are moving. We know that all over the United States, young people and students are actually making a stand in support of Palestine. And in fact, being come down quite heavily on, as I understand, being arrested and so on. But you know, that's the start of a movement, and it's the start of a movement of righteousness. And I'm just so disappointed that on this council, and I know some of you like to wear the badge of being progressive and warm, brown, fuzzy, world peace loving people. But you know what? You don't wear it well. You know, you're just failing to make a stand. You know, sitting there is not actually just doing the will of the people. You know, a council member said to me last time, people in Red Bank don't want it. Nobody said to me, you know, it's your duty also to provide leadership. And if leadership means going for what is right, then do it. You have all been, you just don't want to embarrass your mayor, who has, you know, just made a statement and really forbidden you to make a statement, to make another statement, to actually support peace in Gaza. So I urge you to discuss this resolution take on the leadership and help establish peace again in Gaza.
Thank you. Yes.
Steve Fenichel, I live 2 Harding Road. It's simple to grasp truth that once existed in my childhood. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you, has been trumped by tribalism. This golden rule has become relative, not absolute, as it was when I was a younger person. The truth has been turned upside down. It's the carnage in Gaza, more than 30,000 people, most of them women and children. A proportionate response to the 1,200 Israeli lives lost on October 7th. Is there more value placed on an Israeli life over a Palestinian life? Where would the outrage be if the Israeli government killed 1,200 Palestinians on October 7th and Hamas responded by murdering 33,000 Israelis, mostly women and children, and taking into custody over 7,000 Israeli citizens? It's like the dark side of the truth, the golden rule. Now we are seeing do unto others what you don't want others to do to you, times 25. Block the exits, destroy hospitals, schools, temples, and for good measure, starve the Israeli civilians. I ask council to take a stand like other humane communities are doing and pass the ceasefire resolution so that the golden rule are understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Elmiger. I live at 43 Green Tree Terrace in Lincroft, but I work as the property manager for 65 Mechanic Street here in Red Bank. I'm here tonight to talk to the council about the Mechanic Street streetscaping infrastructure and road improvement project that began in January. Don't worry, I'm here with words of appreciation and praise. First, I'd like to thank Red Bank, the administration, for applying for and managing the grant for this project, and James Gant for his leadership and communication. Mechanic Street is the last cement street in Red Bank, 2,000 pipes, over 100 years old, and so this is a much needed improvement. I'm very thankful for the engineers at TNM who taking the time to explain the scope of the project to me so I can understand how it affects my 16 commercial tenants who are just trying to run, operate their businesses. TNM engineers Lou Tedesco and Kevin Lally manage the project on site, and they're always immediately available for questions. Jackie Derman has been very helpful as well. We're very fortunate to have such a knowledgeable and thorough engineering crew on this very difficult project. I also have to thank the police officers who directed traffic in a very confusing travel area with drivers coming from every direction, sometimes ignoring the officer or the signs that were posted. The unsung heroes of this project who truly deserve recognition are the workers from the construction contractor S Brothers. They've all endured difficult weather conditions and have dealt with many challenges, but they hustle and they work hard. When the work is done for the day, the road is left in immaculate condition with safety cones and signs neatly in place. My appreciation and respect goes to company owner Paul Santos and project manager Ronnie Zammit. Ronnie has basically been my construction therapist. It's not easy to keep me happy. I'm very protective of my building and my tenants. I have a lot of questions, a lot of reassurance. And Ronnie has kept me informed in advance of any events affecting us. He lets me know how to access our building so I can manage the expectations of my tenants. And in turn, they can direct their patients and visitors. This communication has been extremely helpful. Because Mechanic Street is a one-way street, we have two access driveways on our property where one of the two driveways is usually closed because one of the two access streets, Mount or Washington, is usually closed. And some days, one-way street, even with a two-way street. So Ronnie's ability to plan properly and to quickly respond to both stressful and unforeseen circumstances, there have been several, is something that only comes from his extensive experience in the field. He's taken a hands-on approach to ensuring that there's minimal disruption to people working, living in the immediate and surrounding area.
And as much as I hate to cut you off, because this is all good, but I want to enforce the 3-minute cutoff, but thank you for your.
I just wanted,
Something planning a ribbon ceremony when it's.
I just wanted to say thank you for telling us a lot of road projects or construction projects. You generally don't hear the good, right? You hear all about the bad. And I'm happy as, you know, the leader, the administration and the borough to shoulder the bad stuff. And I'm certainly happy to give kudos where it's due. So thank you. Thank you very much for the feedback. Glad to hear that your needs and concerns are being met too.
Mayor, may I say something? I want to just give a shout out to Melanie Elmiger. I know her from when I used to live in Lincroft. And she was instrumental in getting the Lincroft Village Green Association going, and she did the bridge so that when you're taking a walk in Thompson Park, you now have a full loop. This is the person to thank.
Get out.
So she has a good handle of what it takes to get things done. And so for her to say this, I want to say that it is greatly appreciated, and it's really good to see you.
Yeah.
I just want to say that's super insightful, and I mean, it's really refreshing, first of all, but secondly, I know when Jackie of T&M took on this project, actually had lunch with her at Zaytuni on the block, and you know, she said, you know, one of the things that's gonna be paramount and we're gonna show with this project is our communication skills. There wouldn't be too much of a metric for us to know how much more that was done. It's really nice to hear that that promise was kept from Jackie. She's a newer engineer for us to work with in the town. So that's really great feedback to have on our end.
Thank you, yes, ma'am.
Did you want to say something?
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Rania Asi Mahmoud. I am from the township of Jackson. This council is much more pleasant than mine. And I ask you to lead by example for my town and all surrounding towns. It was truly heartwarming to hear, Mr. Portman, your statement regarding the October 7th attack and the 1,100 Israeli civilians. So why not feel the same about the 35,000 civilians that have been slaughtered in Palestine? New Jersey, as a state, has an economic business commerce contract with the sister state of Israel, which is currently on trial for genocide and is actively executing genocide as we speak. To date, there's more than 34,000 civilians killed, 16,000 children. Of them are 16,000 children, 13,000 are women, 80,000 injured. Injuries include 1 or more amputations, white phosphorus burns, and other war weapons used in the most densely populated areas on Earth right now is Gaza. This highly populated land in Palestine is home to approximately 6 million people. 2 million of them, almost 2 million of them, are trapped in Gaza as they're continuing their bombardments as we speak. So you may think it's not a local issue, being that we have the business commerce agreement. Our tax dollars are directly linked to them. They have free healthcare. I don't have any healthcare right now. So our tax dollars are funding a genocide, illegal occupation, illegal settlements, And many of those individuals are right here from the USA and New Jersey. Yes, I would say it's a local issue. International issues concern local issues and vice versa. There are multiple universities and colleges, and the numbers of these universities are growing. They are speaking up, and they are our future leaders. So if you truly believe this is not a local issue, this is what I tell my kids. The circle is definitely closing in on us, and a lot more people are speaking up. There's innocent women and children dying by the thousands. And our tax dollars are paying for them. Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
Thank you. You have anyone online?
Yes.
Suzanne Viscomi, 25 Cedar Street. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. First, I'm not speaking on behalf of the school board or the library board. I'm speaking for myself. I would first like to thank the captain regarding all his help and information and great feedback and responding to questions and concerns. And I really think he's putting a big effort on safety, so I really appreciate it. I wish I could be there to have this discussion, but I actually had something to do at work. But my question or my concern is, I received this email about a survey, Boards and Commissions Diversity Survey. And I feel like we're kind of doing, Red Bank wants two different things at the same time. 1 minute, we just heard another resident say we're one Red Bank, right? We should be one Red Bank. We're 1.7 square miles, not on the east side, not west side. But yes, we do appreciate each side has a little different flavor. However, this survey seems on to me because, number one, why does it matter if I'm gay or straight or female or male? If I am on a committee and board and I show up and I work well and I have great ideas and I participate and I add value, number one. Number two, the weird thing that I don't get is how this survey was made from the template, because the template has a question number 6, religion, but the Muslim religion was taken off. And instead of that, they put prefer not to say. So I guess you're kind of cherry picking certain things. And if you're saying that my gender and my religion and who I sleep with and my marital status and my language all bears on being a part of a committee and yet to be inclusive, why aren't you asking political affiliation? Wouldn't a Democrat or independent or Republican all want to be inclusive and be part of a committee or whatnot? It just kind of seems like it's weird that we don't want to be judged on our ethnicity or our religion. We want to be judged on being a good person in our activity and standing up. I mean, I don't think I'm a better school board member because I'm gay or a better school board member because I'm Spanish, because I became a naturalized citizen. I was born in Ecuador and I lived over there for a year. Doesn't mean I'm better than Mr. Forrest on the school board. I think you should be judged on what we bring to the table and showing up. So I'm just curious why, and it says we don't have to fill it out, but it also says every number has a star next to it. So in my mind, it looks like, okay, I have all or nothing. I have to answer all the questions because every question has a star. So again, I don't get what's the benefit when, number one, you guys are appointing us. Wouldn't you want to know our history, like if we have a degree or not? I mean.
So that was your 3 minute.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't it come from Sustainable New Jersey, that survey? Did it come?
Jim, may I?
Please.
Okay, so this is a survey that is an action for our Sustainable Jersey certification. And it is a question about just overlooking to making sure that we have adequate representation in our community. So this question is basically where we are. Now, the data for the questions on the survey came straight from Sustainable Jersey. So that's why you'll see, and we do mention regarding question number 7, regarding your religious practice, Islam is the Muslim religion. So it is mentioned here. And regarding question 6, for a gender, it's just man, woman, non-binary, or prefer not to say, because I don't know how to say this just politely, but if you're gay or straight, that's not a gender, that's your sexuality, your orientation.
Yeah.
Right, so we don't go into your orientation, but it was given an option to say non-binary or prefer not to say what your gender is. So that's basically what that is. So it is a standard. It helps the borough to see where we are, to making sure that we're meeting the needs of, and we have adequate representation in the future of all members on our boards and committees. So that's all it is.
So just real fast, you're gonna choose members on these ideas and being a good member? Because you did knock off certain African-American people that applied and they had
It's an-
experience.
It's an anonymous survey, so, we're not choosing people based on it, but it helps us to see where we are. Yeah, you can think of it like a census.
All right, you want to do one more line, Jim?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Annabelle. I live in Oceanport. I've been close to the Red Bank community for many years, and I would like to echo the sentiments of the attendees who expressed support for a ceasefire resolution. I attended a peaceful demonstration in Red Bank at Riverside Gardens Park, and I was very touched and moved by how impacted Red Bank residents were by the issue, especially how personally affected Palestinian residents are watching their relatives in Gaza be subjected to horrific trauma. In addition, how passionate many Jewish organizations and community members are about a permanent and sustained ceasefire in the region. The carnage is not happening here, the genocide is not happening here, but we can see it on our phones. We have a parasocial relationship with people who are dealing with it, and we can't close our eyes to it. I would urge you to stand for peace on the issue. Israel is not just defending itself, it is using the Hamas attacks to justify the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people. Making no statement and taking no action is siding with the oppressor. Bystanders are complicit by not taking action against this genocide. So I would urge you to use the right terminology in describing the issue, because it is a genocide, it is an ethnic cleansing, and taking no stance is siding with the oppressor. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just have to use the restroom.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good evening, my name is Andrea Levine. I live in Monmouth County. I do work and shop in Red Bank. I'd be happy to give my address privately after. I don't really feel comfortable sharing it in this way, but I'm happy to give that to you after if that's okay. I'm here on behalf of Jersey Shore Food Not Bombs and Jewish Voice for Peace. We're here to encourage, like other people have just shared, we're here to encourage City Council to pass a resolution for a permanent ceasefire in Palestine and for it to happen sooner than later. I'm personally inspired to share that these New Jersey cities and towns have already passed resolutions. So right here in our state, Union City, North Bergen, Weehawken, Wayne, Prospect Park, Patterson, Celadon, and probably others have already passed a ceasefire resolution. So I know I've been coming I've been coming to the Red Bank meeting online a few times now. And last time we heard that case was made that this is not a local issue. So other municipalities in our state did feel that it is a local issue, and they seem to have decided that it is in their jurisdiction to make a statement in support of Palestine. And I will extend that to say even a statement to support Israel as well, because justice and peace in Palestine will make the entire area safer and have more peace and more justice for all people that are there, including people that live in Red Bank that have family and loved ones that live in that region. There's so many connections that can be made between Red Bank and the part of the world that we're discussing. Another thing I want to mention is I'll try to appeal to you from the financial perspective. There's a website online that actually you can literally put in a city, a state, a country, and it will tell you how much funding is going to the Israeli military and allowing the military occupation of Palestine to continue. And specifically Red Bank, I literally put in Red Bank, this zip code, it's $220,652. And that's going to support Israel's weapons. Instead of that money furthering a genocide, that money could stay here in Red Bank and could otherwise fund 26 households with public housing for a year. That money would otherwise fund 76 children receiving free or low-cost healthcare, 2 elementary school teachers, and I'm a school teacher, so that resonates for me. 628 households with solar electricity produced for a year. That money in Red Bank could otherwise support 5 students with their loan debt canceled and 191, 871, and 95 respirator masks. My time is nearly up. I ask for you to open your mind to what the people before me and thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, can I have a motion to close the floor for public comment?
Make such a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, do some mayor and council comments. Christina, sorry. David?
I'll start with my friends in the back row. Thank you for the cleanup. I'm sorry I missed the event. I was camping in Gettysburg for 2 nights with Red Bank Troop 67. And I gotta compliment the many local parents who volunteered. It was a great lesson in history. The reenactors who worked with the kids were incredible. But I would have been there if I was in town, and y'all are doing great work, and I just appreciate you, and I want you to hear that here, so thank you. I wanna just note, we've had a lot of awesome openings, Monmouth Arts, WIT today, and then of course, and most importantly, lunch breaks, ribbon cutting. I wanna acknowledge those. Captain Frazee left the room. I wanna thank him for coming to these meetings. It's been an incredible resource, and he's really set a standard for helping with information from the police department, and it's been noticed and felt by me in particular, and I hope everybody in the room. It's been wonderful, and I hope it continues. Laura, very, very well-deserved acknowledgement of your efforts. You run the show. Just thank you again. And I just want to say, just because it's been said a couple times now, Mayor Portman has never told me not to speak on a topic, ever. I want to be clear about it, and I won't be insulted into saying otherwise. Mayor Portman has never said it, and when I'm ready to say something on any topic, I will say it, and Mayor Portman will not tell me not to speak. And I just want to acknowledge that he has never asked that of me, and to my knowledge of anybody on this body. Thank you.
Nancy.
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to thank Selena, Betsy, and Madeline for Sayula with working with the Dreamers. I'm sorry, my Spanglish is very bad, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, and Itzel for guiding them. I am shocked that you guys are driving, so I have to get over that.
Unbelievable.
They're growing, right? And I want to say you put together a really well-run event. It was perfect, and we were so happy to be out there and help and pick up a lot of the garbage that we have in town. As you said, there were like huge piles. So I do appreciate your efforts and the marketing that you did. It was amazing. So thank you for that. The next thing I want to bring up is that the Shade Tree Commission received their Tree City USA Award. This is their 18th year of receiving it. This is a committee that really cares about trees, and they have heated discussions about, you know, the shade trees in town. And now their scope might be expanding a little bit with the new stormwater ordinance that we're working on, which would put some how would I say this, regulations about tree removals, even those that are on private property. So there, you know, that's coming down the line. It's on the DEP website. They have a boilerplate ordinance. We're tweaking it for Red Bank as we have it. For the Environmental Commission and Green Team, they helped the Dreamers with their cleanup, and they also worked with the Clean Ocean Action SEAL team, there's a young woman that's volunteering with them to do the walk around for handing out flyers to restaurants, explaining the Skip the Stuff ordinance that was initiated out of the Environmental Commission. The Skip the Stuff ordinance, which is when you're ordering takeout food, your utensils and napkins, et cetera, become by request. And I know that one group went out Wednesday on Shrewsbury Avenue. Today, another group went out on Broad Street and wherever Neapolis, that's Wallace, if I'm not mistaken. They went down those streets today. So they're making, they are making an impact. And if we have this community engagement person coming into that role, that will help a great deal. There was a green fair held last Monday evening from 5 to 7, partnered with the middle school. I want to thank the middle schoolers for their awesome displays and how much they learned about the impact of the climate and our planet and how to conserve. I want to thank all the vendors who came. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I'm getting it all out. I want to thank, not the vendors, the organizations that came to promote their work. I want to thank the committees that came and had a table. So we shared basically what it is that we do in Red Bank. And it was a packed event, it was fun, and it went really well. So also, last but not least, I'd like to thank our clerk, Laura Reinertsen. She keeps us sane. And she also keeps us well organized. So I want to say, I really do appreciate you, Laura. You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, Nancy, I also, as the school liaison, I was so pleased to see that fair at the middle school, such a perfect venue for the fair, and so many kids participated in that fair, much more than last year. And it was great to be there. The second thing I wanted to mention is that Nancy joined me for the strategic planning session of our borough schools the week before. No pun intended, but it was actually quite eye-opening and educating because you're sat at a table and are participating in their strategic planning process. So thank you, Nancy, for being part of that. They have one more coming up in March, next month, and it's on the borough calendar, school district calendar. I have a few things from Parks and Rec. Thank you for honoring Coach Joe Brand, by the way, Mayor. And the Recreation Department will be adding a senior center Zumba and Tai Chi. So those are
For all ages adults, right? Not just seniors.
That is correct, but it's at the senior center.
Yes, but any adults.
6:30 on Tuesdays for the Zumba and 7:30 for the Tai Chi. They will try to do, I think, the Tai Chi outside. And if there's too many people, we'll have to move it inside. Let's see, Pride in the Park is scheduled for Saturday, June 8th. Rain date is June 9th. 12 to 3. Fourth annual Juneteenth celebration, June 16th. Rain or shine at Johnny Jazz, 1 to 5 p.m. There will also be a march from the Pilgrim Baptist Church beforehand. And let's see, we still have voting for the movies of the summer. Ahead at the moment are the Super Mario Brothers movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Shrek, but you can still vote on our recreation website. So I think that covers that. I want to just comment on a couple of things from the comments tonight. I'll start with Barbara Boas. I'm actually with my neighbor Kate on this topic, basically. I know you're not here, Barbara, but maybe you'll be watching me on the TV. I kind of like that there are neighborhoods, whether it's the big city or Red Bank. And neighborhoods have their own characteristics, and I think that's okay. And I don't think it's a bad thing. And I kind of resent actually being told that I have to think some way about living in Red Bank. I like the town. I like that there are various neighborhoods in the town, whether it's the historic district, whether it's, my little Locust Avenue neighborhood or the entire west side, or over by Count Basie. I think it's okay. And it's not a bad thing that communities have neighborhoods. You covered that well, Kate. Let's see. I do want to respond to Jimmy also was here earlier. I don't know what's gonna happen with that land in the long run. But I do think we need to clean it up, and that's been the plan of the borough for a long time. And I don't think we should let toxic chemicals fester, old landfills fester without attention and being monitored. So I'm thinking of you, Jimmy, even though you're not here. I wanted to comment actually on our clerk's report about the districts moving around and flyer here. I'm actually not thrilled with that. I've already expressed this, but I just want to say, I really think it makes sense to have the 8th district voting area in the 8th district, which would be the senior center. It seems bizarre to me that you have to leave the 8th district to go vote at the borough hall. And so I guess I'll just add that little wrinkle to the discussion. I know the county made these decisions.
We had no
I'm
say.
not- I'm not planning to become an activist on this, but I'm not really happy about it.
He's gonna be an activist.
I'm not gonna go scream at the county commission or whatever it is, the voting commission. But I'm not happy. I think I said, and all our guests here on computer and otherwise, about the Palestinian horror show that's going on. I think I said my say last week at our last meeting. I don't think I need to repeat it again. I struggle with it. I kind of am personally, I am of the point of view that there should be no more bombs dropped over there.
Anywhere.
I do separate my role from my personal views from being a councilman. Now, Alan Hill partially quoted me, I think he was quoting me, but not the way I intended it. So I'll just say, when I knocked on the 2,000 doors over the years to run for office here, maybe 2 people who thought I was running for Congress talked to me about international issues. If I'm going to start taking positions on international issues, I think I really should have reached out more to Red Bank residents and gotten more feedback and whatnot on it. Now, I'm morally appalled by what's happening there, and as I said at the last meeting, I may revisit my decision. I want to repeat what my colleague David said, though, and it's very important. The mayor has not dictated to me what to do up here. And if I do make a motion on it at some point, I don't think he'll stop me. And that could happen. We'll see. I'm not very happy with what's happening over there.
And many more have to die.
Well, I don't think that even if we pass a resolution, that it's gonna stop Netanyahu's war.
Sure.
But I don't wanna have a back and forth about it. I said my say about it last month. And I do wanna thank the mayor. I mean, the mayor wrote his letter. I don't think we had a vote on it. I respect the mayor's right, though, to have an opinion, just like I do. Thank you very much. Well, I spoke up here. Thank you. That's my comments, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Hi, there was a library meeting tonight. I couldn't make it, so that's, I did get a report though from the library because I'm the liaison to the library. The Red Bank Public Library would like to thank Hackensack Meridian Riverview Medical Center for generously donating 3 AEDs to the library. These life-saving devices will undoubtedly make a significant difference during critical moments, potentially saving lives and offering reassurance to those in need. They will also profoundly enhance the safety and well-being of our community. The library will also thank the Red Bank DPW for assisting us in installing the cabinets and devices, which I think they're doing this week. So on May 1st, there will be a reception at the library at 6 o'clock. I think Mayor Billy Portman's gonna go. I know Councilwoman Nancy Facey Blackwood's going. Everyone's invited and they're gonna have a little reception. I unfortunately will be out of town, but it is really important that we have those AEDs in the library. That was the first thing when I took a tour of the library. I'm like, okay, you have Narcan on every floor. Where are the AEDs? So I did twist a few arms, and thank you for Riverview for doing that, because as a nurse, that makes me happy. Okay. So also on May 1st at 6 p.m., they're also the library's also kicking off Mental Health Awareness Month. It's National Alliance on Mental Illness and Our Voice program, led by individuals living with mental health conditions. This interactive presentation offers insights and understanding. Come ask questions, join the discussion, and help build better lives. All are welcome. Groove to the smooth sounds of jazz as the Asbury Concert Band, conducted by John Luckenbill, presents an unforgettable evening musical delight this Tuesday, April 30th at 7 p.m. Join us in the First Atlantic Federal Credit Union on May 14th at 6:30 to learn how to boost your credit score and achieve financial freedom. Workshop kits will be available in English and Spanish. That's another thing I love about the library. They have a lot of things in English and Spanish. I know I see a lot of my neighbors there. Historic walking tours are back. Join Kathy Lou Cole Morgan outside the library for an educational tour of Red Bank's historic stops. The remaining tour dates are May 4th and June 1st at 10:30. I actually took that tour with my husband a couple of years ago, long before I got into politics, and it really is I learned so many things about the town that I've been living in for 25 years that I didn't know about. Get ready for a new world of entertainment and education because Canopy is coming to Red Bank Public Library. Starting this May, Red Bank Public Library card holders will have access to vast collection of award-winning films, David,
A few of mine are on there.
documentaries, David, and educational videos, all at your fingertips. So that's the report from the library. Animal welfare, they were here tonight, and I'm excited that the chicken ordinance is going forward. One thing I did want to mention, on May 18th, we're having a yappy hour at the Broadwalk. So you can bring your dogs down. We're also collecting food for cats and dogs, because I have to bring up cats, because I'm a big cat person. And that will go to lunch break, which was very, very successful, and we're doing it again. I think we have some things out in the hallway here, right? For donations, we're gonna have Bins and Feathers has buckets. We brought them to the Green Fair the other day, which was great turnout. I was happy to see so many people come over and talk to us about animal welfare. So that's it for animal welfare. I would like to thank Laura, because yes, being a baby council person, she helps me, because I have no idea sometimes what I'm supposed to do, but she does tell me what to do and helps me organize my life. Thank you. I too would like to express that we are listening to everyone here, okay? Mayor Billy Portman does not tell me what to do. I respect him as I respect everyone from both sides of the aisle. Many of you know that my daughter has a master's degree in international studies. My daughter is an activist in this area. I respect my daughter too. I respect everyone who has something to say. I'm also very happy, because I was a college professor for many, many years, to see colleges taking up a cause, okay? I was in college when the Vietnam War was going on, okay? I happened to get my doctorate from that university that is having such a problem now in New York. So I think people will look back on the young people doing this work, and will look back on you for doing your work. I don't think that us making a statement on that is going to change. I don't know President Biden. I mean, I like him, but I don't know him. So I don't really think that's going to change anything. Like Ben said, if I change my mind, I'll change my mind. But I do want you to know that Billy Portman, I do respect him, and he doesn't tell me what to do. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. From the CEEC, Community Equity Engagement Committee, this is the report from the chair. Sustainable Jersey compiled the survey regarding diversity on commissions and boards, which was distributed to all committee and commission members this week by the Borough Clerk. Thank you. This action item works towards certification and gold star status. Also, I know I've talked about this before up here, the initiative, which is a collaboration between the Parks and Recreation and the CEEC, which is a pushchair for people to use during the Red Bank Classic and for any other participation in races in town. That was delivered this week, so that's great. The CEEC is also going to be giving resident awards, recognizing residents, you know, for doing their thing and being great and being a part of the community. I think that's a great part of the engagement that they've been doing with the online social media posts, spotlighting people's individual stories. So beginning in May and awarded quarterly, they're going to pick one female, one male, one business organization, and one person under 30 to recognize from within the community. So if you know anybody who's done extraordinary work on the ground, or you know somebody who you think should be recognized for what they do in our community, we are a town of 13,000 people. We don't always know when somebody has done something deserving or worthy of praise. Please use this as an opportunity to bring those people forward to get, you know, the recognition they deserve. Other than that, I'm really looking forward to the Broadwalk season. Once again, that's going to be starting the Monday after Mother's Day. Every Thursday night, there is going to be a fresh market in the Broadwalk. This fresh market is the same as Asbury Fresh Market and the fresh market that you see in Bellworks. So I really look forward to see the vendors that are curated specifically to Red Bank and our culture and what we bring. No pressure to Danny on that task. Also, every Friday in the Broadwalk will be the Kids Takeover. That's an initiative that I actually started with the River Center. One of the first seasons of Broadwalk. It's wonderful. Kids take over every Friday. It's a great communal time. We know as parents, we can go down there and run into other parents. Kids bring their trikes out, they bring small toys out. I believe this year Shore Gamers on Monmouth Street is going to be partnering with that, which brings that to a whole other level. It's just really a great resident time in the Broadwalk. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm sure, you know, Nancy will be bringing back Easy Ride and bike lessons in the Broadwalk. So just really great to be able to share that every Thursday and every Friday. We're going to have, you know, that programming and so many more events to come. But that's basically my report. Thank you.
All right, I just wanted to go over a couple of events that we talked about.
Yeah.
And a couple of new ones. First off, my neighbor Carol Penn is doing an event at the library tomorrow from 1 to 2. It's the Institute for Community Evolution Lunch and Learn, featuring the Gambia Collaborative Medical Mission. There'll be some light refreshments served, but they're asking you to bring your own bag lunch if you want to go see what Carol is up to on her medical mission. Again, coming up in May, the Record Ride Street Fair on Mechanic Street on May 11th. Again, David Cassidy, instrumental in getting this put together. That's going to be a very cool event. We also have coming up 2 food drives in Red Bank. One is the National Association of Letter Carriers. They do this every year. On May 11th, they're doing their food drive, where basically just if you put out a bag of non-perishables on the porch, they'll take them. And in the last 10 years, they've collected more than 70 million pounds of food. Also, Dermer Dreams is a great organization that's doing their food drive. I actually grew up with I didn't grow up, I went to college with Elise Dermer. She's a good friend of mine, so I'm also a neighborhood captain for this. 90 John Street, you can just drop your stuff at my house. But that's also happening on May 18th. And and then also on May 18th, we talked about Yappy Hour, but my Mayor's Wellness Campaign cycling and walking event. I will be there, of course, on Saturday, May 18th. I don't have the route yet, so that'll be published on the socials and printed up what the route will be. And yeah, I think that is it. Jim, you want to give your manager's report?
Sure thing. It's brief tonight, Mayor. Just a couple items. The budget was definitely a main focus of the last couple of weeks. We held our budget presentation. It's been posted to the website. We'll be taking further action on that in the next coming meetings. I've asked Ingenuity, who is our water engineer, especially working on the lead service line replacement program, to come to the next council meeting to give a full overview of the continuance of that project. As you'll see with the banner in front here, Take Your Child to Work Day was nationally recognized today. But because the borough had court and council meeting night, we are celebrating tomorrow. I think we have about 23 kids coming to the borough from employees, and it's probably the biggest involvement of kids that are going to be joining us, and we have a full program put together for them. So there's going to be touch a truck. Each department's going to be doing presentations, giving out goodies, and we have bags made up for the kids and a couple of different presentations, meet the mayor. So it'll be an exciting event. And I want to thank the wellness committee that we put together with our new HR manager for bringing this program to us. Laura sits on that committee, and in that same vein, I just want to thank Laura for everything that she's done. She continues to do the great ideas that she has. You deserve more than a week to be recognized, and I'm truly appreciative for our collaboration as colleagues. So thank you.
All right,
And send our love back to Bonnie.
Yes,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, sure. We don't have exec session.
Sir.
No. All right, then, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Hi.
See you next time. Thank you.